Welcome to this For the Record update. I'm Lori Dew. In November 2013, For the Record presented Minnesota Martyrs. That investigation showed the connections between the Somali American community in Minneapolis, St. Paul, and the al-Qaeda-affiliated terrorist group al-Shabaab. For the Record revealed that since 2007, dozens of young men from the Twin Cities have traveled to Somalia to join the Jihad. Some Somali American families began to report that their sons were killed fighting for radical Islam, including at least 3 who were trained as suicide bombers. Since our episode aired, more Somali Americans have left the U.S. to fight in the Middle East, mainly in Syria and Iraq. This trend could lead to a new threat on U.S. soil, as For the Record presents Minnesota Martyrs.
When the radicalization problem first reared its head as far as the FBI in Minneapolis is concerned was in the fall of 2007. We received reports of young men of Somali descent in Minnesota disappearing from their homes.
Who was missing before it happened to us was a kind of a mystery. People would whisper things, but what was not a mystery was the radicalization. Calls for Jihad was an up-beat game.
Abdi Rizik Bihi is a Somali American who lives in Minneapolis. In November 2008, his nephew was recruited and radicalized by al-Shabaab. Bihi is now the executive director of the Somali Education and Social Advocacy Center.
It would happen all the time at the convention center, Minneapolis Convention Center. These imams would call the community and call for Jihad, anti-Ethiopia, because Ethiopia invaded Somalia. That's what they would use. They would ask young people to go fight. That was common.
While official estimates vary, Bihi says since 2007, more than 50 young men from the community have answered the call of Jihad. Officially, at least 15 Somali Americans have been reported killed fighting alongside members of al-Shabaab, and all of them were recruited in their community.
There's one mosque that was leading this charge.
What was that?
That is the mosque called Abu Bakr as-Siddiq Mosque. All the missing, all the indicted, and all those who have been sentenced to jail here, who are in jail now, including the janitor of that mosque, are all from the same mosque, out of 40 mosques around here. They declared jihad on us. They asked their congregations to run their cards on us. They told them that we were not looking for kids. There are no missing kids. They told them we were paid by the infidel to destroy the Islamic society. They lied.
Since 2007, the FBI has investigated and prosecuted multiple al-Shabaab cases in the area. But leaders say those actions haven't stopped the ongoing radicalization of youth.
It will not stop. They might have changed the venue. They don't preach in the mosque anymore. The venue always changes. Al-Shabaab is an entity, or like al-Qaeda, that can change overnight.
Since For the Record filed this story, the FBI has reported that the call to jihad has expanded beyond Somalia. In June 2014, Minnesota Public Radio reported that based on information obtained from the FBI, as many as 15 Somali American men have left Minnesota to join the jihadi groups ISIS and Jabhat al-Nusra in Iraq and Syria.
Jabhat al-Nusra is a designated terrorist organization. It's the official al-Qaeda affiliate in Syria. And if they're raising money and recruiting in mosques, not just in Minneapolis, but in Columbus, Ohio, Boston, Atlanta, San Diego, and some of these other cities where we have large Somali populations, that's a serious problem.
In May 2014, Manar Mohammed Abu Salah from Palm Beach County, Florida, is believed to be the first American citizen involved in a suicide bombing in Syria. In June 2014, The Washington Post reported that the Director of National Intelligence, James Clapper, testified that Jabhat al-Nusra has aspirations for attacks on the homeland, and that al-Qaeda groups have established camps to train people to go back to their countries. There have been no known efforts by groups in Syria to attack the United States, but plots elsewhere have been attributed to spillover from Syria. A French jihadist who had been in Syria was arrested after killing 3 people in a shooting at a Belgian Jewish museum on May 24, 2014.
The new stage that we're looking at is the transnational network that's being developed amongst all these jihadist groups as a result of the jihad in Syria.
Poole says the expansion and recruitment of the jihadist network worldwide has been active for more than 30 years.
When you think about how the problem that resulted from the jihad in Afghanistan during the 1980s against the Soviets, and in that case we're talking about hundreds of what were called Arab Afghan fighters, and as a result of that came al-Qaeda. Now we're talking about thousands and possibly more than 10,000 of these foreign fighters operating in Syria, and the problem in terms of potential blowback, terrorism blowback here in the United States and in the West is exponential.
For the Record and TheBlaze.com will continue to follow this story as well as other developments in the region. I'm Lori Dew with this For the Record update. For the Record Season 3 returns in September.